Guys, today I want to tell you about what you should know when you want to try yoga for the very first time in a group class setting. So if you're considering doing yoga, I want to say good job, it's going to be great. Welcome to Emotionally Available, where we talk about being proud of our body, growing, and being awesome, and being delighted with what we can do every single day, big or small. Welcome, my name is Deanna, this is Emotionally Available. So I think it's really important to tell you first that yoga is a never-ending journey. So whatever you think you need to know before you go to your first class, you're gonna learn more. So if you're a over preparer or you really want to be 100% ready, try to let it go. Try to say, you know what? I'm just gonna go and learn something new, because I go to yoga class and learn something new too, and I've been teaching for 10 years. You just have to go. So with that said, try your best to banish fears about expectation and judgment of yourself, because you're gonna learn a lot. Every teacher is a little bit different, every class format is a little bit different, every studio is a little bit different. And when you go to your first class, I want you to know that because there's all those variables, you might love the class, hate your mat, not vibe with your teacher, love the studio. Or you could go and be so drawn and in love with your instructor, but the class was way not your style. That's okay too. Whatever combination of liking class, there's a lot of them. So I encourage you to try different classes from different teachers, maybe even at different studios, before you decide if you like yoga. I have been a teacher for a long time, and there's been plenty of seasons of my life where I just say, me and yoga are not as good friends as we were a year ago, and that's okay. Your journey is gonna grow and change, and that's all right. But all we need to focus on today is getting ourselves on the mat. So what you can expect from your first yoga class is a few things. You should look for a studio first that has classes that are good for your schedule. If the schedule isn't convenient, it's gonna be really hard to go regularly and give it a second chance or a third chance or a fourth chance or a fifth chance or whatever it needs to be. So make sure it's convenient, whether that's the scheduling, the distance from your house, etc. Also affordable. You should check the rates first. Groupon's kind of a fun way to see what kind of deals you can find. So you can maybe do a 2-week trial or a month trial, etc. Whatever the studios have to offer. You're gonna wanna make sure that you ask about mat rentals or bring a mat. So a lot of studios will offer to give you a mat for free, or you can rent one for maybe $2 to $5 for the day and other equipment you might need. Before your first class, I would consider thinking about if you're okay with using a borrowed mat, or if you want your own, your choice. Some people really don't like to share, and that's okay. Whether it's for germ reasons or just comforting and feeling like this is mine and I'm safe on it, whatever it is. Decide if you want to get a mat ahead of time or if you want to borrow one, so you can feel a little bit more secure in whatever you decide that day. You could even just run to Walmart or Target and just buy a mat for whatever is a reasonable amount of money to you. It doesn't have to be fancy. When you get to the class, make sure that you are comfortable. So I wear these black leggings. They're from Target, like every day, and I love them. They're a reasonable price for me, and I like them. And then I enjoy wearing high-waisted leggings, so when my shirt comes up or down while I'm practicing, I don't feel so naked. But there's a lot of studios, like hot yoga studios, that it's quite appropriate to be in your sports bra. I would say for your first class, no matter what, wear leggings that are comfortable. Wear a top that either has a built-in bra or a sports bra that are both comfortable, that you're going to be okay getting real sweaty in. Because whether it's a gentle class or not gentle class or a hot class or a non-heated room class, you just want to make sure that you're ready for anything. And when you're at home getting dressed, go ahead and move around. You might even find on YouTube just a regular beginner style flow and give that a try. The famous see-through leggings test is good. Stand in a mirror, turn around, bend over and look through the mirror between your legs. If anything shows, you'll know. The most important thing before your class is that you're comfortable. So make sure you pack things that are gonna make you more comfortable when you arrive. Maybe it's your favorite water bottle. Maybe it's the hair ties that just feel best in your hair. Maybe it's a specific shirt that just makes you feel like a rock star. I know it sounds trivial, and this has nothing to do with the actual practice of yoga necessarily, but you need to be comfortable. So things like mats and clothing, I think, are actually quite valuable to think about before your first class. When you arrive at class, you'll go to the front desk most likely. Sometimes it's the teacher at the front desk that will be teaching you, and sometimes it's going to be another teacher helping her sign in, depending on the size of the studio. When you arrive, you're going to have to sign in whatever their format is of registration. And then when you get to class, you're going to set up your mat in a place that feels comfortable in the room. That might be predetermined if it's quite busy and you just have to put your mat down. Or you might get to choose. I want you to take note of where the front of the room is. If there's mirrors in the room, you're probably going to face the mirrors. If there's no mirrors in the room, see if the instructor has put her mat down already and face your mat at that wall where her mat is in front of. The thing to think about also is when you're doing yoga, you do face different directions sometimes. So if you're trying to hide in the back, that's okay. But the teacher might decide to face the back for something, and then you're going to be in the front. So don't put too much thought into it. Just put your mat down where it's comfortable. Make sure you know where the restroom is, where the water is, all that good stuff. When you're going to your first class, I want you to remember a few different things. You can't fail. You are not the worst person your instructor has ever seen. And it's only a class. It's probably only 60 minutes, 45, an hour and 15, whatever it is. It will pass. So when you get on your mat, you might just want to stretch your neck out a little bit, or your wrists, or your shoulders, and your hips. If other yogis are doing big crazy stuff, don't bother. It's fine. Just do your thing. Don't worry about what they're doing. You just want to make sure that you feel relaxed. So we often carry tension in our neck, in our shoulders, in our hips, and in our hands. I think that is most, even in dance, like that's where we often get really tight. So when you get to class, you might just sit in a cross-legged position, like crisscross applesauce from when you were 5, and just roll your neck out. Yeah, you might shrug your shoulders. You might just lay on your back and just breathe. That's totally okay too. Most of the instructors are going to give you ample time, let's say about 15 minutes before the class starts, to just set up, and that's a good thing. If you have panics about having to use the restroom during class, one, it's okay. If you have an emergency, you have an emergency. I have a very tiny bladder, and when I go to class, like now, even as a teacher, I am always worried I'm gonna have to pee in the middle of class, and then I'm gonna be uncomfortable, and then I'll be annoyed that it's like ruining my practice, being distracted by the fact that I have to use the ladies' room. When you hydrate, you gotta go a lot. So go ahead and make sure you know where the bathroom is, and if it's a heated room, you really shouldn't leave unless there's an emergency. But if it's an unheated room and it's very discreet, your teacher does want you to be comfortable. And if you're very worried that you're going to use the restroom or that it's your first time in general, you should tell the instructor that. They'll most likely say, well, this is what you should do about it, or of course it's okay that you get up, or whatever. When it is your first class, I want you to think about what your physical activity in the past has been. My dog is sitting right here. That's what that little blob is. And what injuries you might have. So if you have sensitive shoulders, just keep that in mind as you move. If you have sensitive knees, keep that in mind when you move. And tell your instructor these things. They want to know, I promise. As you move, you need to be comfortable making modifications. If she tells you to do something that hurts, don't do it. Most teachers will tell you to take modifications or give you an alternative that's less intense. But you should know that no teacher that I think is a good teacher would ever force you into anything. If you find pressured to do certain things, think to yourself, am I being self-critical? Try to banish those thoughts. Is the teacher forcing me to go into it? If that's the case, go somewhere else. Say bye-bye after class. And just be really, really gentle on yourself these first few classes that you're trying. You gotta do it. You gotta try. It's gonna be fine, I promise. And your teacher's gonna take good care of you. Teachers love new students. It's really exciting for us to meet new people and to know that we're kind of helping you start this journey. It's cool. So if you have any questions for me, please leave a comment. And get on the mat. Wear comfortable clothes. Move around a little. Decide if you wanna buy a mat. Be confident that you do not have to know everything. Make sure that you are knowing and aware of the fact that it's okay to be a beginner, and you're gonna do great. Good luck. Bye, guys.